Thank you. So let's go to this diplomatic breakthrough that the Italians have made, bringing together the GNA and Tobruk factions in some kind of preliminary negotiation to reach a negotiation with Donald Trump saying, I don't want to have any part of getting the United States in the middle of this. But like you're saying, at the end of the day, a diplomatic resolution is the only way that we're going to be able to resolve these difficulties, including splitting up the oil revenues or whatever, right? So it's all going to be on the table. So can you talk a little bit about this Italian initiative and what hopes you may have for it to be a building block to actually have a resolution reached that is diplomatic and not military?
I can try to take it. Sure. Senator, I think the Italians deserve enormous credit for brokering this. I think it's a start. I'm not sure if I would hail it as a breakthrough. What it is the head of the State Council, High State Council, the head of the HOR agreeing to talk, meeting for the first time. The question is what's next, and the devil's in the details. And so what new body emerges from this? But then, again, I have to underscore this question about who controls military force. And this was what led to the fighting back in 2014, the monopoly on the use of force. So, and the question will be, what is General Haftar's willingness to engage in this process as well?
Do you think this indicates that he's willing to participate in the process, given the fact that both factions are now going to be talking? What do you think this portends?
I honestly don't know, Senator. I mean, we've seen these things happen before, these initiatives, and then there's always room for spoilers, in Libya. So I just don't know at the moment what his stance on this is. I know the Algerians and the Tunisians have their own initiative going. I think it's encouraging that he's starting to meet with a number of high-level officials as well. But as I understand it in his communications with the UN, he wants a seat at the table that could be the head of the table. So.
Okay. Ms. Jones? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say that talks, in a good way, process is the opposite of conflict, and that's, so that's a good thing. However, the political valence of these kinds of negotiations is really thrown off when you have external elements, making promises to people or giving them added weight in the equation that then leads to them staying out of the process. And I think that's the case with Haftar right now and with other groups, unfortunately. We've done a lot of talking.
Reports are that Sarraj is coming to the United States to meet with President Trump. And reports also are out there that Sarraj is going to talk to Haftar before he comes to Washington to meet with Trump. So does that give you some reason to believe that the United States, President Trump, should play a hands-on role and not a hands-off role in terms of trying to resolve this dispute?
Of course, I think that the president can play a helpful role in that if he underscores the importance of a political solution and of civilian authorities over the military. If anyone can make a deal, I think he probably believes he can.
So you're saying this is an opportunity for President Trump to try to make a deal, that he should play a hands-on role in trying to bring these two parties together?
If it is indeed the case that Sarraj has met with Haftar and is coming and to see the president, I do believe that the president should offer something more than saying this is an Italian problem and we're going to help you militarily and that's it. Yes,
thank you, Doctor.
I would agree with that, and it's not simply the deal, but it's what comes next. It's the guarantees, it's the involvement to make the deal stick, and so that's where this sort of whole of government approach is so important. So we should be ready to engage beyond this handshake, whatever handshake.
But do you see this as a big moment, that you have a kind of a number of events that are all kind of converging, heading towards this meeting in the White House with President Trump?
Again, I don't want to sound pessimistic, but I'm guardedly, optimistic maybe. But again, it's something that we've seen, and this is where the regional states are so important. The role of the Emirates, of Egypt, the fact that they, in principle, agreed to the 2015 agreement. They said yes, and we thought that was a breakthrough. But meanwhile, they hedged. So the role of regional spoilers, and especially spoilers on the ground. So can Siraj deliver the rejectionists in his camp? Are there going to be people in Haftar's camp that feel left out? How much control does Haftar really have?
Okay, good. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.